go up again? Dang! Did you go under the tank? Oh man. Okay, Liam. Where are you gonna put your feet? Gotta put your foot here. That's why. Can we just lift it up? There you go. Hey, welcome back to Fathering from Home, and I'm just doing a quick vlog today to let you know about a new blog post I actually wrote today. I got inspired by someone else's writing about how to visit Disney on a budget. Well, so my tips are mainly for those people out there like me who have a lot of kids and are looking at Disneyland and going, how in the world are we ever going to afford this? Well, there are some ways you can save some money getting to Disneyland. So the first tip I've got for you is to piggyback your trip on something else. If you're going just for Disneyland, then it's going to be expensive. But if you're going for something else, then you can basically mitigate some of those costs. Like I say, 2 of our trips, we went to Disneyland for a conference. So actually we were being reimbursed for some of those expenses, and so that minimized the expense to get there, and then we were able to go to Disneyland as well. So if you can, find another reason to go, see if you can save some money that way. Tip number 2, saving at the gate. If you can, you want to minimize the number of passes that you want to buy. And I'm going to actually slip in my bonus tip here as well. But basically, when you're going to Disneyland, you know a one-day pass is like $100 plus, even for children. And those children start at age 3. If they're 2 and under, they're free. If they're over 3, you're paying big money. Now, Disney does have programs like the 3, 4-day, 5-day, 7-day park hopper passes that will knock down that price on a per day basis, but you're still buying a whole boatload of days. So if you can, minimize that cost whatever way you can. Figure out exactly how many days you need in the park, minimize it that way. Second thing you can do along those lines is saving at the gate is if you know anybody who lives in Florida or California in the area, maybe they know somebody who works at Disneyland. Everybody who works at Disneyland gets a certain number of free passes a year that they can give away to family and friends. So if you know somebody, or if you know somebody who knows somebody, then perhaps you can get a few free passes out of them. The bonus tip that I had earlier mentioned has to do with the ages. If your youngest is still not 3, plan to go before they turn 3. Last year, we went the day before our twins turned 3, and that saved us 2 park passes. So if you can at all travel when your youngest is like an old 2-year-old, then you're going to have your best chance of saving some money that way too. My third tip isn't really that good of a tip, but I'll mention it anyways. With regards to food, Penniless Parenting had a really good idea in that you can bring your own food, and there are some rules to that, so make sure you check out her blog to confirm exactly what you can bring and what you can't bring. But it's relatively easy rules, so if you can, yeah, plan to bring your own food. But personally for me, a big part of the Disney experience is being able to eat in the park. Was it called the Blue Lagoon or the Blue Bayou restaurant? It's built right into the Pirates of the Caribbean. I love that place. I love eating there. It's just so cool to be able to sit in the middle of a ride and eat dinner with your spouse. So I love that. So if you're going to be spending money on food in the park, then I actually suggest you check out the Disney dining plans. They're pretty affordable, and they include a whole bunch of meals and snacks and drinks and stuff like that per person that you buy it for, and it's a pretty good deal. So that's my recommendation there. Number 4, accommodations. Where you're going to stay is a big expense getting down there, and you're going to pay through the nose going to hotels, especially if you have a big family. Particularly at Disney World, because all the closest hotels are Disney-owned hotels, they have very strict rules, and one of their rules is that you cannot have more than 4 people in a room at one of their hotels. That being said, obviously if I've got 8 people in my family, I'm not getting away with less than 2 rooms. And that starts adding up really fast. Now, normally I'd recommend you go to a hotel and you find out if they have a suite. Usually a 1 or 2 bedroom suite will do the job for you. And you can fit everybody in there, and it'll be more expensive than a regular room, but it'll be less than buying 2 rooms. But there aren't a whole lot of resorts at the Disney World complex that have suites in them. The only one I can find is Saratoga, and it's ridiculously expensive. My suggestion is, if you're looking for a cheap way to do accommodations, go camping. Especially at Disney World, they have a place called Fort Wilderness Resort, and it's about the same price as any other campsite. And so if you can do that, then you're going to save big bucks. If you tent it, you save even more. If you RV it, obviously the sites are a little bit more expensive. But you've got the same access to all the park and free shuttles that you do from the hotels. And obviously you're going to pay much, much less. If you have your own RV, bring your own RV. If you have your own tent, bring your own tent. If you don't have either one of those, you're coming from far away, my suggestion is, when you get to Orlando, rent one. Even if you rent an RV and then camp at Fort Wilderness, it's cheaper than getting 2 rooms at a value resort. Tip number 5, getting there. If you're going to fly, my suggestion is you go to a website like kayak.com. They're a really neat aggregate search site. They search all the airlines, and they also have a neat function where they'll mix and match airlines to make sure that you get the best price going and coming. So I do recommend that you check out Kayak, but don't buy from them actually. My recommendation is not to buy from them, to go directly to the airline's sites and search for those specific flights that you find there. You do that, you will guarantee you get the best price every time on your flights. It takes a little more work, but it'll get you cheap flights. The truth is though, if you've got 6 kids like me, you can't afford to fly. I don't know, maybe you live in a town that has a really, really cheap flights to Kissimmee and Orlando and stuff like that. But where I am, the cheapest flight's $400 plus to get there per person. And you multiply that times 8, it adds up to big, big bucks. No, my suggestion is for getting there, unless you are in driving distance to the park, or unless you just happen to live in one of those big cities that have really, really cheap flights there, your best bet is going to be driving. I crunched the numbers on this. You can check them on my blog. I'm pretty certain, even for us, coming all the way from Canada, we would be looking at a much, much cheaper bill at the end of the day to drive for 4 days to get to Florida, and then drive back for 4 days to get to Florida, to get home, than we would if we flew. So, yeah, it costs more time, but you save big bucks. And you know what? Road tripping with your family is not as bad as a lot of people think. You need kids. If you do it frequently enough, your kids get used to driving around the car or the van or whatever automobile you have, and it becomes a better experience. And you get to see more stuff. You get to visit things along the way and experience things that you might never ever get to see. So, anyways, check out my blog for more information on these tips. And yeah, if you've got a big family, Disneyland doesn't have to be totally out of reach. There are cheaper ways to get there and cheaper ways to experience it. And if you think of any other tips, hey, even in the comments here, I'd love to hear some more tips, because we do want to go back to Disneyland. The kids tell me that they are convinced that we have to go back to Disneyland soon. So I would appreciate any more tips you've got that can help us save some money to get there. Thanks a lot. Take care, and happy Father's Day.
You want to go on the big one? You want to go on Clanky again? I think he's too big now.